heading into our third message in this series, talking about being a follower of Jesus. And I just want to point out that I am currently the coolest pastor within 50 miles of here because I am preaching off of an iPad today. So I just want to make sure that that's well known, okay? I know you're not supposed to be selfish, but I got one. And I'm really excited about it. Actually, I carried it around just the other day. I was at a meeting with another pastor, friend of mine in Mount Airy, and carried it into the meeting, and he's like, wow, you got an iPad? I said, yeah. I'm just carrying it around to look extra cool. That's really the only reason. I have no reason. I'm not going to use it today, and I don't plan on taking any notes from our meeting. I just want to look extra cool today, so I'm just going to carry it, holding it by my side the whole day, and he understood. So it was good. But you know, we're talking about this whole not being a fan and following Jesus the last couple weeks, and you know, I was thinking about it this week. I was thinking, you know, it makes for great rhetoric, but it's really hard in the day-to-day. It's really hard, and I just want to make sure you guys know that we all mess this up from time to time. I messed this up this week. I was thinking about it, and in fact, I was thinking about my message. I was driving out to our pastor's meeting, actually, with Joe. I was driving out there and having to get on 15, and I merged onto 15 near where the Wegmans is off 26, and everything's good. And then right before I get to the Mater Avenue, Possumtown Pike Avenue exit, I got cut off. And I was livid. All of a sudden, I got cut off, and all of a sudden, I'm thinking about being a follower of Jesus, what it means to follow Jesus, and the next minute I'm sitting there going, are you serious? And I'm like basically all but cursing the guy in front of me, and of course, you know it's bad when you're in a car when you call him by the make and model of his car. What are you doing, Toyota? All right, where it's no longer a person that you're yelling at, it's the car's fault. It's the car, it's the manufacturer's fault all of a sudden, all right? And Toyota drivers are the worst. Sorry if you're a Toyota driver, I'm sorry, but that's just what I found, all right? This is the way it is. Chevy drivers, which I am, are not too far above it, so it's really okay at all. But you know, I realized that it's tough. It's hard to let this get into every part of our lives. Our natural instinct is just to continue on, and as much as we try to follow, we mess it up, if we're honest with ourselves. And, you know, I thought about that, and I was like, you know, but that's the process that Jesus is taking us on. It's not that we all of a sudden, at one time, all of a sudden get it all right, but that's a process that we're moving forward towards. And so today we're going to kind of pick up where we left off the last couple of weeks, talking about, you know, we had, you know, Jesus telling us exactly what a fan was and what a follower was 2 weeks ago. Last week we talked about the invitation Jesus gives us to follow. And this week we're going to really talk about what it means to follow. Because a lot of us were very quick to say, yes, I'll follow. But Jesus, remember from the first week, is he's always trying to define the relationship. Where exactly is this relationship? How far are you willing to go to follow? Where are you willing to go? What does it look like? And so as we dive into our scripture today, that's what we're going to be looking at. And the funny thing is that last week we were looking at Luke chapter 9, verse 23. And Luke, he must have been like an author or something, I don't know. Because he does a really good job there at the end of Luke. He gives us 3 different people who talk about how they want to follow Jesus. And I think from the 3 people, their response, Jesus' response, we're going to figure out what it means to truly follow Jesus in everything. And so we're going to pick it up in Luke 9, verse 57. And this is what Luke records. He says, as they were walking along the road, they being Jesus and his disciples, a man said to him, Jesus, I will follow you wherever you go. And we're just going to stop there. Because that sounds like, after the last 2 weeks, that sounds like the guy with the right heart. That sounds like the exact right thing to say. I will follow you wherever you go, Jesus. All right, that guy's got it down. He listened to Pastor Brian's sermons the last 2 weeks, and he's all fired up about it, and he's going for it. And he looks like he's all in. He's ready to go. It looks like he's got everything together. He's counted the cost, and he's ready to go. But see, Jesus replies in the next verse. It says, Jesus replied, foxes have holes, birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Jesus basically turns around and he says, so you say you're willing to follow me wherever I go. I'm homeless. How about there? He says, I don't have a place to lay my head. I don't know where my next meal's coming from. I don't know if anyone's going to take me in. I don't know if I'm going to have a pillow to lay my head on. I don't even know if I'm going to have a roof over my head tonight. But will you still go? You see, it's easy to look at Jesus' words from last week and the week before and go, my guess is there's probably a couple people here who are like, that's a great poetic expression that Jesus had. To follow him in all things and deny yourself and take up your cross, that's really poetic. That makes for a great, emphasis that Jesus, but he didn't really mean it that much. He's not really meaning to go that far. Jesus shows us right here, he means what he says. Guy says, I'll follow you wherever you go, and he goes, how about there? Literally this spot. How about being homeless? How about not knowing where your next meal comes from? How about not knowing if you're going to have a roof over your head tonight? How about there? Jesus showing him that you need to go wherever. Wherever Jesus tells us to follow, we're supposed to go. And it's just tough. This is tough because it's easy to say. This guy, he says it. He's got it. It seems like he's got it down. But it's really tough in our own lives. It's really hard to carry our cross through every part of our lives, everywhere we go in the day-to-day. It's crazy because most of us, we pick up and we carry our cross for a little bit of the day, and then there's certain places the cross doesn't go with us. We pick up and we carry our cross all day, through work, through all our meetings, through everything else. We carry it all day. We get out of the car on the way home, and when we get to the front door, we drop the cross. We walk in the house, and all of a sudden we don't treat our family at all like we treated everyone else during the day. All of a sudden we stop following Jesus, and it doesn't matter once we're in our house. Because they'll forgive us, all right? It's too hard to carry my cross when it's my family. Or for some of you, maybe you're great at carrying your cross during your family, but once you get in the car and you head on to work and you're carrying it all the way to work, you're even listening to the Christian radio station as you're going to work, you're carrying your cross, you get to the front door of work and you go, boom, there goes the cross. I walk in, I do my 9 to 5, don't worry about Jesus, don't follow Jesus. I'll pick it back up on my way out. I see students do this with school all the time, busted students. You guys carry your cross before and after school. But man, that's 7:30 to 2:15, 2:30, whatever that you're at school for high schoolers, there's no cross. You're carrying your cross outside school, but you're the same person in the gym locker room who's cursing up a storm with his fellow teammates. I get it, it happens. I've been there. Jesus says, wherever we go, you're at the game, carry your cross. You're at home, carry your cross. You're at work, carry your cross. You're at school, carry your cross. You're at church, carry the cross. All right? Carry your cross. He says, wherever you go, you got to follow. Wherever I say to go. And see, the funny thing is that the wherever is not where we want it to be. That's the tough thing. It's not wherever we want to go. It's not just wherever on a whim. He's got the cards. He's holding the deck. Ball's in his court. How many more cliches can Pastor Brian bring on this one, right? He's the one who's targeting, and he's the one that's directing. It's wherever he wants. We're the followers, and he's the leader. Jesus wants followers that say yes to him before they even know what the request is. Before he even says what the request is, they're going, yep, whatever it is, wherever you say to go. Jesus told Owen to follow him outside. Gotcha, Owen, I just had to. All right, come up here. But we continue on, and the second guy comes up, and Jesus says to him, follow me. And the guy replies, but the man replied, Lord, first let me go and bury my father. So Jesus said to him, let the dead bury the dead, and you go and proclaim the kingdom of God. Okay. This sounds like it is just unreasonable of Jesus. The guy just wants to go home. He wants to bury his father. It sounds like the guy's dad is dead. He just wants to take care of funeral arrangements, get everything together, get all the, everything else, and then he wants to follow. And the funny thing is that to us, it just seems like, Jesus, don't you get it? Like, the guy's grieving. His dad just died. Well, the situation is that based off of Jesus' answer and some other things that we can get from the text, that's actually not the case. Jesus gives him the call, the same call he gave the disciples. Follow me. 2 words. He says, follow me. And the guy goes, yeah, I'm going to go bury my dad. And what he really meant is, my dad's not really dead yet, because that really wouldn't, he normally would have said something different then. My dad's not dead yet, but see, he wouldn't be a big fan of me going and following you. So I'm going to wait until my dad dies and we bury him, and that's all, that whole strife in my life is taken care of, and then I'm going to come and follow you. I'm going to wait till it's a little bit easier on me. I don't have to cut some family ties. I don't have to give up so much. I don't have to carry my cross or deny myself so much. I'm going to wait till it's convenient to follow Jesus. We see with the disciples that when Jesus says, follow me, they turn around just like that and they follow. They don't ask questions. They don't discuss it. They just sit there and go, okay, we'll follow you, all right? And that's what Jesus is looking for. He's looking for us to move whenever he says to move. He's looking for an immediate response that says, yes, whenever, I'll go. I'll follow whenever you say. He doesn't want our excuses. He doesn't want our procrastination. You know, the thing is that my guess, and some of you can correct me if I'm wrong, my guess, though, I think our churches in America, in this county, everywhere, are full of really good people. I really do. I really think most of the people that go to our churches are really good, well-meaning people. But people that are, for the most part, okay with a half-hearted relationship with Jesus. Because they have every intention later on in life to follow fully later on. It's just not convenient right now. It's just not the right time. My kids, they take up so much time. I just can't follow Jesus right now. You know, my job, it's really, really busy. I just can't follow right now because I don't have the time. Or, you know, it's going to be so much easier when the kids move out because, you know, then we'll have all this free time in the world and everything else. Or, you know, I just graduated college. I've got all this debt. It's really hard to follow you with my money and my financials, Jesus. So I'm going to wait until I get out of debt or I get that job that I've been looking for. I'm going to wait until I'm retired, or when then I'll have more free time to follow Jesus. So I'm going to wait just till the next stepping stone, whatever it is. I'm going to wait until it's convenient. We're just waiting till later. Jesus tells us exactly how he feels about our excuses and our procrastination. He hates it. He has no room for it, no desire for it. He tells us and he just shuts it down right there. He says, oh, you want to go bury your father? Way to make that sound like your father's dead and you're taking care of funeral arrangements. I know what your heart is. I know you're just putting it off. And you're just waiting until later. Wait until it's a more convenient time. You see, the sad thing about that is if we treat Jesus like a weight loss diet, where we just keep putting it off, diet starts Monday. Okay, maybe Tuesday. Oh, I'm already at Wednesday, might as well start next Monday. Oh, next week, and a week, and a week, and a week. We just keep putting it off, and putting it off, and putting it off. What happens is we always are living in the land of tomorrow. We're always saying, tomorrow, I'm going to get it right. Tomorrow, I'm going to follow Jesus with everything I have. Tomorrow is what I'm going to do. The problem with the land of tomorrow is that, shoot to you straight, most people don't ever make tomorrow today. Don't ever get from tomorrow to the day. They always put it off, because guess what? I don't know much. I know I'm 24 years old. Most of you have a lot more life experience than I do, but this much I've learned so far in 24 years. Life never gets easier to follow Jesus. It never gets more convenient. It never gets more easy. The landscape never gets better to follow Jesus. Once you get it, I mean, I've learned it just with the way things are in busyness when it comes to even where I am in life. You know, when you're in high school, you think your life is so busy, and then you go to college, and you're like, wow, high school was really simple, but my life now is really busy. You get out of college, and you get your first full-time job, you're like, whoo, college, I had tons of free time. Now, life is really busy. Then you get married, then you're about to have a kid, then I'm sure you have 2 or 3 kids, and it's even worse, and then you're trying to put them through college, and all of a sudden, it never gets easier. You never get more free time. It never gets more convenient to follow Jesus. There's always one more thing out there that's going to keep you from it. The sad thing else, too, is that those people who do make tomorrow today, there's one thing usually that brings them to that point. And that's because tragedy strikes in life. A loved one dies, life caves in completely around them, and tragedy strikes. And you know, the thing is, I sit here and I really love you guys. And I don't want you guys to go through tragedy, to have to get the realization that I gotta follow Jesus. Please don't let it come to that. Please don't let it come to that. Because living in the land of tomorrow, the fact is that the land of tomorrow is full of horrid things. Horrid, I love that word. Horrid things. It's full of unmanageable debt, and lost relationships, and addictions, and hypocrisy, and just all sorts of hurts and pains and difficulties. The land of tomorrow is not riddled with lollipops, sunshine, and rainbows. The land of tomorrow, it's difficult, it's painful, it's hard, because you haven't fully submitted to Jesus. You're not seeing life through Jesus' eyes, you're seeing it still through your sinful nature the whole way through. Don't get stuck in the land of tomorrow. Please don't. Seriously, I know it's in the middle of my sermon that I made this point, and it really should have been right at the end, because I honestly think this is, if you have one thing today that you're going to take with you, don't get stuck in the land of tomorrow. Because it's way too easy to do. It's way too easy just to put it off, and procrastinate. Please don't get stuck there. Finally, then, we get the third man that comes up. At this point, I don't know why he came up to Jesus. He's just shot down 2 other guys who said they didn't want to follow him. I don't even know why he kept doing it. He's like, he had to know he was going to get shot down as well. But he comes up and he says, I will follow you, Lord. But first let me go back and say goodbye to my family. Sounds like a good request again, all right? Let me go by, say bye to mom, pa, and sister, and brother, and whoever else is around. And let me just say bye, and then I'm going to head on the road with you. And then Jesus chimes in again. And he says, no one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God. Come on, Jesus. Give us a little bit of break here. He just wants to say goodbye to his family. What is up here? But see, Jesus again, he's getting to the heart of it. He's showing that this guy, he wants to follow Jesus, but he's always going to be looking back over his shoulders. He's always going to be looking back to what used to be, what used to happen, the way life used to be, the way things were before. He always is looking over his shoulder when he's got to have both eyes going forward in God's kingdom. God's saying, if you want to plow the ground, if you want to be a worker in my fields, you got to have both eyes going forward. You got to have your full focus on what you're doing in my kingdom. You can't be always looking over your shoulder to what it used to be. You can't always be back there. Jesus sees it like this. He sees it that you're saying that you're in a committed relationship with him, but you're calling up your ex-girlfriend every night and talking for an hour. That's the way he sees it. None of us would allow that to happen. We would blow up in a heartbeat of our significant others if that ever happened. That's the way Jesus sees it. He says, not on my watch, you're not doing that. Both eyes ahead. What he's saying is you got to be all in. You got to be all in whatever I tell you to do. No matter what it is, if I put a plow in front of you, you better have both eyes going forward with the plow. If I got you out there in the fields harvesting, you better be out there harvesting. You better do exactly what I'm saying to do when I say it. Because that's our relationship. That's what it's like. When you accept the invitation to follow Jesus, the deal is that we're not just making Jesus our top priority. We're actually making him our only priority. That he's our only focus. Both eyes on Jesus. Straight ahead in his kingdom. Realizing that everything else in our lives takes place and takes care of itself if we completely focus on Jesus, not the rest of our lives. This is something that's really tough for a lot of us. It's like, well, does it really have to be that way? Jesus realizes, though, that thing that we're most reluctant to give up is the first thing that's most likely to replace him in our lives. And he knows that they're really good things. They're things like family. They're things that, money's not that bad of a thing, really. They're good things. Family and friends, being liked, things like that, where it's just like, these are things that we don't want to give up. We want to make Jesus our top priority, but we're like, everything else still got to have its place in there. Jesus says, I've got to pick the only priority, because without me being the only priority, that thing, even if it's something good like family, is going to come in and it's going to rule your life real quickly. And all of a sudden, Jesus is then in the back seat. Remember, Jesus doesn't like being in the back seat. His fans let Jesus ride in the back seat. He wants followers. He's got tons of fans, but he's looking for followers. So, God's really cool, and this whole marriage illustration that we had going on just fits right in today. Because see, the last couple of weeks, I left you with the question at the end of everything. I left you with the question the first week, are you a fan or are you a follower? Last week it was, will you follow Jesus? This week, it's a little bit different. Remember the first week, Jesus was down on one knee asking us to marry him. That's basically what it boiled down to. Last week it was Jesus making the invitations up for the wedding. Well, we've made it. The engagement's over. We're at the wedding ceremony today. We're here. Jesus is on one side, we're on the other side. And the pastor's already said to Jesus, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. And Jesus sat there and said, yes, I do. All right? 100% completely, I do. To you, exactly where you are. The pastor's not turning to us. He's asking us the same exact thing. Jesus is asking us the same exact thing. Do you take Jesus for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health? Will you say I do today to Jesus' call to follow him in everything the whole way through? To follow him wherever, whenever, in whatever he's calling us into. Realizing that it's no longer what our desires are, it's no longer what we want in life, it's no longer about us. Remember, it's putting off our sinful nature, our selfish nature, so we can live for Jesus. It's saying that it doesn't matter what I want, it's exactly what you want, Jesus. It's wherever you want to go, whenever you want me to go there, and doing whatever you want once I'm there. It's yielding 100% completely to Jesus. And see, this, I hope you guys are getting over this 3 weeks. This is real Christianity. You see, we really in the church, we put a lot of emphasis on this belief side of things. Believe. John 3:16 verses. Believe, believe, believe. And we don't put a lot of emphasis on these verses to follow after Jesus, to model our lives after his, to make him our one and only priority. Well, the fact remains that faith without works is dead. So belief without following, dead. On the other side, there's some places that go out there and they say it's all about doing the right stuff and belief is kind of down here. That's legalism. That's not Christianity. That's just a set of rules. Christianity is found where the two are married. You believe and you follow. You believe Jesus is who he said he was. He's the Son of God. He died on the cross for our sins and rose again, triumphant over death. And then you follow after him, making him the one and only priority of your life, letting everything else fall in around it. That's Christianity right there. That's the Christianity that unfortunately over the last 50, 60 years in our churches, we have forgotten to preach. We have come up short, watered down, made it easy, and a lot of times for a lot of us it's been just to get numbers through the door. The deal is that we need you to believe and follow, because that's where the true Christianity is found. That's where true Christians, followers of Jesus, are found. So the question remains, will you say I do? Will you take Jesus up on this invitation? Will you make that commitment today? I'm not going to make anyone raise their hand or come down front or any of that other stuff, but here's the deal, and you're going to make this deal with me because I'm going to say it and that's what's going to happen. But here's the deal, is that if that's you today, God's tugging on your heart and he's saying, you know, you haven't been following, but it's time to say I do. It's time to say, I give it all in. I'm ready to go wherever, whenever, whatever for Jesus. I just want you at the end of the service, Joe's going to be down here in the front. I'm going to be in the back there. Just talk to one of us. Let us know. Just so we can be happy with you. So we can be encouraging you. So we can pray with you. So we can just rejoice with you. It says that all of heaven's angels are rejoicing when one person comes to Christ. And we just want to be kind of one of those humans that gets to kind of dance and party alongside you too, all right? And gets to party for the follower that's coming to follow Jesus and everything they have, all right? All the angels are up there having a dance party. We just want to take part too, okay? And encourage you guys the whole way through. Because being a follower, it can be discouraging out in the world. That's why we got each other. That's why we live in community. That's why we're here, okay? So if that's you, please make sure you come and talk to Joe and myself, or myself at the end of the service. Doesn't matter who, whichever one you like better, that works. Or whoever's closer, or I don't know, sometimes the shininess of the head, sometimes is a beacon that draws you in. I get it, you know? I get it completely, okay? Joe, I'm sorry. Happy birthday, bud. But please, talk to us, okay? I thank you for letting me share this sermon series over the last 3 weeks, and I just want to pray and finish it up, all right? So, Lord,